Well, hello everybody. It's Manav from the Tag Club, and today I'm gonna show you a very fun, interesting program called Pico 8, which can be used to make a lot of different assets through a pixelated style. So basically, Pico 8 is a platform which uses a retro game console like style to basically make other programs. So it's normally was used to make games and help other people make small retro games, but some people have taken it to the next level and with the help are able to create our own CAD program, our own 3D design program in this. So today I'll show you how to use Photoshop and the program CAD itself, picoCAD itself, to make a few interesting designs and assets which you can put around your game and stuff. So I decided. So this is the normal picoCAD program. It's a very small window. That's how it's made. So it's there in a 8-bit style, and this is your orthogonal view. So over here is if I add in a cube, let's say. So this will be your top view, your left view, and your right view. And over here is your 3D view, in which you can use your arrow keys to navigate around and look around the thing, look around the object. And and as you see, when I'm hovering over it, it's sort of flashing and stuff. So and when I hover corner, it highlights as a circle. So these are the vertices which you can click and basically extend out using your arrow keys to change the shape of the thing. So I decided we could make something very simple to start off with, something which uses a cube, and I'll show you how to texture it. So I decided we could make the Nintendo NES console, a Nintendo Entertainment System. I think has very basic colors. It's not too hard. Anybody can pull it off. So first we got to recreate the shape in picoCAD, right? So it it has basically two components to it. One is on top is a box, and below it, as you can see over here, it's kind of a slanting or trapezoid kind of box, right? So first we'll try and create the top box. Uh, so you can just use your mouse, left click, drag around, so you can move it around in the 3D space. You can see it's moving the object around on all the other different axes. So and over here you can, if I hold, so if I, as you see, if I press click over here, it highlights this, and if I press over here, this is not selected anymore. So basically, to make our job easier, if you hold X and you click both of these, it'll select both of them. So we can extend our top of the console like so, and in the similar way, we can select these as well, and also extend them to the right. Yep. So this is the top of the console, which you can see over here. But as you can see, only it only looks correct in one of the views. So if you see, I'm hovering over these squares, and it turns white, right, of the orthogonal views. And when I'm hovering over them and press space bar, it goes into a full screen view in which you can view the object properly, right? As you see, we got our cuboid over here. And the thing is, it's not long enough, so we have to elongate it for our top. So that would be done from this angle if we select these two while holding X, or we can select the entire thing by dragging and clicking, which we are very aware of by using other programs, I'm pretty sure. And I use these arrow keys just to elongate it. So this can be the top of our console, just like so, right? And if you go into full screen mode, we can check it out. It's a proper square. So now we have to recreate the bottom, right? From it, all we have to do is right click and add another square, or you can always go in the bottom left and add another square. So we're going to add a cube, right? So now we have to align it to the bottom of our square, of our top cube, and now basically extend it to to a similar dimension, right? So I select these and use my arrow keys to move. Sorry, use my arrow keys to move them, and select these two as well, and use my arrow keys to move them. And now I need to extend them likewise over here. Use my arrow keys to extend them, and over here again, use my arrow keys to extend them. It's super simple, but now we got a double decker sandwich, as I would like to call it, right? So now we have to add its bends, which is I'm pretty sure they're on two of its orthogonal left y-axis faces, right? So this is the y-axis. All I need to do is select that thing and push it in. And similarly over here, I'm going to push it in by 2 pixels each, right? Maybe I extended this a bit. Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, 2 pixels. So we got our NES console right here. It's only the wireframe now. So our job is to texture it. So in picoCAD, there are few modes, right? So this is the render mode. This is the wireframe mode, which you can see the wire, and this is where you can see different texture modes. So this is just to see what kind of object it is. So if I add what you say another pentaprism, you can't see it over here. I'm sorry. Pentaprism like this, and if I move it around, put it on top, you will see it shows in a different color because it's a different kind of object, right? It's just an object view, and if I press it again, it will load in the texture view, right? So if so for us to edit a texture, we we go from the edit mode to the texturing mode. So over here you can select faces. So if I want to edit the top face, I can select it, and it will highlight an area on our texture map down below where we can select and move it around and get a different color. So if I move it from the green to see, say the pink, it will show a pink pattern on top, right? It's pretty simple. So what we have to do is on Photoshop, create our own. Oh, I'm sorry. Create our own um texture for our NES cube, right? So I'm sorry, I'll just move this aside. So if I open Photoshop, there's a limit to picoCAD. There's a limit you can only import a texture of 128 by 128 pixels. So we'll create a new file, right? And I'll select 128 by 128 pixels, which I'll show you how you can do it again. You have to select the mode of measurement as pixels and set the width and height as 128. Resolution doesn't matter, the color doesn't matter, and you create it, right? So this is how your Photoshop screen will look, right, to everybody. This is a default preset. So I would suggest you go into painting mode, which I prefer because it tells you all the brushes over here, right? So what you need to do is, since we have to create a transparent PNG image, we have to remove the background, which you can just add a new layer and delete the old one, right? So we got our 128 by 128 pixels. You would think that we would use a brush tool for this. Let me select a simpler brush, right? Hard round. But you see, as we create, while had stroke with the brush, it creates a very ugly feathering effect on the side, which is not ideal for our application, right? So what we would use is the pencil tool, which which are able to create hard edges, hard lines. Even if I increase the size, it just creates hard edges. There's no feathering. You can paint it, fill it properly in any shape you want, right? So first we have to create our NES console. So the easiest way to add a texture is to basically um, imagine it as a fold out cutout thing which you used to do as kids. Maybe you haven't done it in the past. So basically, if I can search, show you an image, fold out cube, right? A fold out cube would look like this. So we can see there are 6 faces over here, and we can, add a texture to each face. So what the texture that we need are also six, which is for all the six sides to our console, right? Which is the the first side, and the second side, third side, the fourth side, and the top and the bottom. So we have a total of six sides, right? So if you go back to our image of the NES console, we'll try and create the top texture, which is a rectangle with two black bars and a grill, right? So I'll just create a black box and reduce our pixel size to one, right? And if I'm holding shift and drawing lines to recreate the to make proper straight lines. So this will be our top texture, and I'll add the grill on the side. There's a issue with um, picoCAD around scaling. All right, so it will doesn't matter how big or how detailed your texture is, it will try and fit it according to the program. So it will try and fit in it inside this square that we have created on top, right? So I create a proper square. My apologies, I didn't create a proper square. Right. We can just eyeball this. It doesn't really matter because it will fit to our proportions in the end anyways. So I add the grill, right, which we can fill in using the paint bucket tool, which is a shortcut for G, and we fill these in. Oh my bad. Right. And we add the grill. We can zoom in. You can zoom in by pressing Alt, hold Alt, and using your scroll mouse button, and we can add the grill to this. I think it's better if we leave a bit more spacing. So a faster way we can do it is we can just select this area, right? And command Control C Control V it. So we can just we have copied that area and we can just move it around as you please. So we can it just becomes a faster way of working with our projects, right? So just copy this and I press Control T, which which helps me to transform. I can just move these around, right? So that's just a faster way to do it. And Control C, Control V, Control T, and move it on top. Right. Oh, I moved it a bit too far. Yep. So this is our grill, and we also need to add like these indentations of the cartridge slot and stuff, right? So we go back to Photoshop, and we we first fill in the shade. So we can just, I think the easiest way is just to import an image of the NES system, right? So we can just sample our colors from it. So if you press I, it uses the eyedropper tool and selects the color for you to use, right? So I got this shade of gray, which is very infamous to the NES, and I fill this uh, area in, right? Oh, my bad. And we also can sample the gray from this, and we can fill that to this, right? And you can see it's created like a nice shadow effect on it as well. So we can also add a bit of specular highlight to it, a console, and add some shadow, right? So we would like to add the cartridge slot like this, And we can add a bit of highlight in the corner with white. Maybe not in that corner. I think over here it'll work much better. Maybe a specular highlight wouldn't work out over here. Since it's the top, it should not really work out. So I'm just gonna remove it. And I'll also, so this is our texture. This is the first texture we have created, right? So I'll remove this image from here. We'll just hide it. And we go to File and Export as a quick PNG. We can just export it to our desktop and we'll just name it our NES texture. And so all we need to do is open picoCAD and literally just drag and drop the texture into the texture view. All you do is just drag and drop it in and loads in the texture view. Like it's just that easy. So we select our top mask, top layer, which is this, and we ask it to go and select this area. Yeah, so now we can see our console on top actually has the texture that we have created, right? As you can see that. So all we need to do is texture all the other sides as well. So the sides that are remaining are the front. So just imagine as a cutout. So if this is the front, we'll just continue our work from here. So we go back to the pencil tool and extend it out. Use the eyedropper tool to take the exact shade and extend it out lower, further down. Right. And all we have to add, first we need to complete the cartridge area. Right. And we have to add the words Nintendo, which we can just add by adding a few lines of red, like so. Right. And now we come to the darker shade. We can just toggle our image back and we can use the eyedropper tool to get a darker shade. And using the pencil tool again, fill this in completely. And using the paint bucket tool, completely fill it in. We still need to add a border to this. We select this, the gray over there, and drag with holding shift on your mouse to add this. And we have to add the button and the light. So for the light, we can just select a darker color, create the light like so. And for the button, I just select this and go to just a lighter shade, darker shade, sorry, maybe a bit more dark. Yep, just create the buttons like so. And all we need to do is add a red line in it to signify the text there. Yep. So again, now all we need to do is go to File, export as PNG, and we can just replace our old image over here, which we had named as NES PNG. Yes, we replace it. And again, since it's not updated on picoCAD, all we need to do is as simple as to drag and drop it in, right? And you see the other texture has been loaded in. It's simple, right? So we scroll, use our arrow keys to rotate a cube around. So we find the area in which is the front, which is this. Oh, my bad, guys. I think I've added the curve to the wrong area. It's just not supposed to be. So this is the front, since this is the front of the console, right? I added the curve of the box to that side, which is not correct. So I will go back to my wireframe mode. All I need to do is go back to my object edit mode, right? And this these sides are meant to be straight, so I just ho- drag my mouse while holding left click and select the vertex and use my arrow keys to correct it. And it's supposed to be indented on this side. Oh, yep. So if I go back to my texture view, it's and change the rendering mode to our texture, you can see now it's correct, like by having this the front of the console be flat. So for this, I just need, again, all I need to do is drag the texture around and just literally hover over it and just drag each of the vertices around to get the texture. Yeah. So if you zoom in, you can see that we've gotten our front of the console texture, right? Maybe it's two to the left. This is much better. Yeah. So this is how we can see it's our red writing is over there. So now we have to add the texture to the bottom, which is again just drag, scroll, pull it down, hover over, click on each of the vertices. You can hold X to select multiple vertices and use your arrow keys to move this around and just select the area. It's just that easy. I can hold X, select both these vertices and move it down for the texture. Right. Pretty simple. Hope you're able to follow to this point. So we have created our three faces, our two faces of our console. Just we can just stream through the other ones. So lower, our lower end of the console would just be this area. So uh, we can do, our shortcut our way. So since it automatically scales to our required length, we just press I as eyedropper and select this and create with the pencil tool, create a small box over here. Doesn't matter what, if it's a square, because it will scale automatically, and create our cube which is filled in with the gray color and export as png. Replace our NES. Yeah, and all we need to do is drag it again in here, and you see, as you can see, it's loaded in the square. So for our bottom, use the arrow keys to go to the bottom and select this area. So it's been textured to that. All you need to do is scroll down and hover over this, right? So yeah, so as you can see, it's just added in and it's scaled up our console to that length, our lower end. So it doesn't matter what size it is, it will try and fit it into that area. All right. So all we need to do is add the other sides. So I think best way is to make it in the fold dot pattern. Just add a duplicate to this side about the area. So if I open Photoshop, I can just use the marquee tool, select tool, to select this area. Control C, Control V, and I can just transform it to the new area. Right. and I can just erase the inside because we don't, this is no longer required. Sorry. Just use your pen tool to paint over it again, because if you use the eraser tool, the background we have created would disappear. Right. And for the lower end, we need to add the ports. So that uh, there's two ports on the NES console. Um, One would be like there's a AV port. Oh yeah, there's a classic console. So all we need to have is a wire, so a AVI port and like a power port on the back. That's it. So in our texture, I missed out on one important thing, that this pattern, this grill pattern continues till the bottom of the console. All I need to do is add it. Use my oh sorry, my bad. Use my fill tool to fill these in. Right. And again use my pen tool to extend this on the bottom, and a similar way I'll just copy this for the other side. So we need a total of 4 of these. Control C, Control V, Control T to transform and add it over here. I can Control V, Control T again to copy paste it again and paste it again. Right. And we have to, since we have to, it's the lower end of the console, we have to fill it in with this texture. Oh, fill it in with this texture. Oh, there's a bit of a issue, it's bleeding out. The fill tool is not always exact, so I just select this and use this to fill it in. Right. And all we need to do is select this tool, go lower and create our ports. So one port end will be on this side. Right. And one port end will be on, again, this will be probably smaller for the power. So API requires 3 ports. And we add our, the order would be, we can go check on the image, white, yellow, red. So white, yellow, and red. Sorry, red. Right. And over here we can add our power port. We can just add it in a much darker shade of gray. Just fill it in like so. Simple. Hopefully you're able to understand. And so basically, this is our entire texture that we have created. You can spend time cleaning it up, which doesn't really matter because um, you just select our scale. You fit the texture to the scale of the object of the face. Right, so and also remove this image since we no longer require it. So this is our texture of our NES console that we have created, right? So a good way is to add depth to our the pixel art we have created. So all we need to do is select this area, a color, either just go a slightly lighter shade, and using again the same pencil tool, add highlights like so. Right. And so just in a similar vein, we can add a darker shade for the shadow. So again, the pencil tool right here. Maybe this is too dark. Something somewhere like this. So as you can see, compared to this area, this has so much more detail just because we added like a embossed or highlighted area to it. So all we need to do is create a line below it. It's just that simple. Right. And similar way over here, we can also add a highlight to it using the pencil tool like so. So this will be our completed texture, which is super simple. As you can see, it does not require a lot of effort at all. So all we need to do is file, export as PNG, and replace our NES PNG with it. Yes. And all we need to do is drag it out to our picoCAD. NES right here. It's there in our picoCAD right here. So this is our front. So we go back of the console. So this area texture would be of this the light strip we created. Yep. Select that, drag it around. No, just move back up. Hold X, select these 2 points. Use the arrow keys to move them. Right. And again, if I move them, sorry, I can, since we want the border, we can move this by 1 and move the entire thing, hold X, and move the entire thing by 1 in that direction as well. Yep, and select, hold X and select these two and drag these down to fit our area. This is the top and the bottom of the console, the back end, the lower area wouldn't be this. The lower area, we would move it down to our port, which is this, right? And we select these two. Uh, oh, yep. And so we have added our port to this. You can see if we zoom in, our port is in fact present over there. So, and over here, it's just the same. Just it's a bit of a tedious process. Just drag, select these two, and extend it to our desired length. Right. Another face is made. Now this face is left. Again, just drag it down, hold X, select multiple, extend. So we can create. I just try to create a very simple design for you today, and I'll show you another complex design where you can edit, you can manipulate even bigger shapes. Right. Um, uh, this is one thing I in fact missed. That's a texture of the black bit over here as well. So I'll just add it in Photoshop. Open my Photoshop and add it right now. So Control C, Control V, Control T, move it around on top. Right. We have to add this black bar to it. So I selected it. The pencil tool, how big is this? 1, 2, 3. Okay, but it's easier if I just select it. Reduces the amount of work. So all I have to do is just drag it up, place it here. Oh, yep, it's the same width. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 pixels. I just need to move it by one. That's it. Moved it by one. And again, fill this in. Yes, that's it. And again, file, export, save as export as PNG. This is a quick way of doing it. And you've made a PNG, and again, I'll just drag and drop it into our picoCAD. It'll just update it automatically. And on the back texture, I just need to move it on top. Oh, it's on the other side. I think I can just rotate. I'm pretty sure I can just. Oh, okay, guys. I think I might have pressed the button which has reset our entire project. I think I pressed Control R, which has reset our entire project. So I've already have since we've already created the texture, I'll just add those images again, the cube again, and just quickly fit it to size. Yep, move it up, move this down. That's our top of our console. Similar way we need to extend. That's so we have made a cube. Again, I need to add another cube for the bottom. Cube added. Right. All I need to do is select these two, extend it. Sorry, select these two, extend it again. Simple process. Extend it again over here as well. Extend it again. Extend it again. And we need to create our indentation 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. So if I go back to this view, I can see that we created a similar one. Maybe I can increase this length a bit more. So that would be select this, move it along a bit more. So this feels much better, like the console, right? Um, the length is perfect, I feel, and all is left is to increase it by making it a square on top as well. Yep, this is up. I mean, you can just eyeball it because it just fits to scale, all of it, right? So I centered our object as well. I go back to a texture. This is a good way because you're able to learn it at the same time and just drag and drop a texture in. It'll take a bit more time just to fit these in. So hold X and drag it to our length. Hold X, select these two and drag it to our length. Right. And then this is the front of our console. Cartridge this side. Select this, drag it again. we have selected this area and see it's come out properly. And we select this face. All we need to do is drag it down, select this area, hold X, drag it up, hold X, drag it down. Okay, now we have to recreate it on our back side. All we need to do is select this, hold X, no, sorry, select this, move it over here. So we have rotated the axis, right? So it's just mirrored, and we add a cube, like add a texture like so. Boom, boom, and extend it down. So now you can see it's flush with our entire system. So that's the last mistake I made last time. And again, this is the back side, so I needed to select the port, power port area, extend, sorry, and select these two again, and extend. This side would have the power cables, the left side. So I just go there. That's it. And the one below would be textured as the entire bottom half of the console is. So boom. Select these two vertices, hold X to select again both of them. Uh, so, and what side is left to texture up front, and these two sides are left. So this would be the texture. Move it around. Select these two, drag it down. These two, drag it down. Right, and select this texture. And again, select these two, drag it down. So now you can see our NES console is in fact fully textured and modeled properly, right? There's some issue happening in the bottom texture, so I think it's just I've extended a bit too much. Yeah, this is our entire NES model. As you can see, it's perfectly textured on all sides with all the ports. You can zoom in and you can see even more detail, right? So, and a simple way to do this is go to File, and since we're using a pico, it's using a retro format. We save as, and we name it as our NES, right? This will be saved as in our app data folder, in our roaming folder, as literally an NES, and it's a text file. And you can see it has the coordinates of all the images. It's very rudimentary, and you can just use this, another tool which they provide uh, on their website itself, to get the uh, get something called a toolkit. So this is their website. You can just download the Pico. It's a fan-made project, right? So they can't really. You can either help to donate them, or you can just download it for free and test it out yourself, right? So if you go to the download, you will get a manual, which is this, where you can learn it on your own with all the shortcuts and stuff. So I just showed you a simple way to do it, and we can also get a toolkit which helps you to export your project into files like Blender. So if I open my toolbox, right, and I press Z to view files, app data, picoCAD, and NES, and open this file. Sorry, my bad. Drop in. All I need to do is go to my domain data, file, view files. So this is my files over here, and literally just drag and drop it into our toolbox, right? And all we need to press 1 to export it as what is it, obj file, and open it. So all you need to do is open the obj files with Blender. I don't have Blender open. Okay. Right. So we can just go to file. Can just probably, I'm pretty sure I can just drag this in. File open. Don't save. Uh, I'll I'll just put it into a better place. These files. Um, I'll extract it into a desktop copy, and we'll just add into a new folder NES, everything over here. Right. So file, desktop, NES. Hmm, There seems to be some kind of issue with the OGB file. It should be just opening. I've done it in the past. Cannot read, but I'm not asking you to open desktop. Okay, maybe like if I go to probably if I go to import uh, OG wavefront file, right? Desktop, NES. Yep. And if I import it in, see it has imported our file right here with our texture on it. So you can just use this as your part of your game design, right? So our NES project has been made, and you can even go into picoCAD, full screen it, go into a render view, and also explore accordingly. So you can use it. You can export it as a GIF, a medium spin. It'll spin it. You can just take a recording of this stuff. So you can share this process with all your other friends and send it around. So this is, you see, a very simple object. It's just made out of cubes, right? So I think we should level up, open a new file and level up to something much harder. So I think, um, since the texturing, wanted to focus on texturing over here. I've understood how texturing works. I'll also file save this, save on your computer on my desktop, right? NES, and save PSD, right? The same way we can we can create a new file by 28 by 28 pixels, and I decided we can make a pokeball, right? So we'll add, since this is a cylinder, we need to have to make it into a cube, sorry, a sphere. Keep on adding some cylinders, right? And basically, select these two vertices, and see, as you can see, it started to feel like a sphere already. From the top, you can see it's almost it's almost a sphere. So all we need to do is reduce it in height, you know, make it to create a sphere, right? Right. So over here in our, we can see in our texture view that it has, with, you can add like a shadow effect so you can see it better. This is our sphere right here. So we just need to refine it a bit more. Right. We select these corners and bring it in. a bit. Yep. So as you can see, it's more of a sphere, but the thing is, this face is not big enough. So we have to increase the size of this face as well. So if I select X, hold these two, and increase the face. There seems to be some sort of a issue right here. So we're trying to make it seem flat, so it feels a bit more extended on this side. So all we can do is select this face, oh, something over here, right, and move this around a bit. Right, so if you go to that face and see what's going on, right, it has in fact increased. So as you can see, this face has become like has reached the same size of the face. So all we need to do is recreate it on the other side. Right, select this, also extend this on top. Oh, my bad. See, so now, oh, what's the show here? Right, so we have created, if we go select this area, we have created a much better sphere, looking sphere. We can maybe take these points and move them around a bit, make it much more smoother for transition. And similarly, we should also increase the size of this face again. Yep, sorry, my bad. Slowly, just a bit tedious, but we can achieve our goal. Uh, you can just, yeah. So this is a very great, very good spear we have created, right? Maybe we can, I feel so at least, we can make the top a bit flatter. Hmm. Maybe a good way will be to extend this on either side so we get more area to work with. I think I've extended it too far. I think I'll just undo this action. Extend it one by one. It's safer that way. Less we are less prone to mistakes. Right. I have extended this sphere a bit. It's much bigger from the top. So let me just fix this. I don't know why it's so low. I can select this entire object. It's a bit finicky, the program. So to just get it just right. So it's there from this angle. Yep. Similar way, just extend these. See, it looks fine from this angle. It's a bit messy. It's not a proper sphere. So I'm just trying to correct that. Yep. So this is fit. Just fit this in back again over here. See, that's a much better sphere. There seems to be some issue going on over here. That this side is too long. Okay. All I'm doing is pressing X and dragging them back one at a time. Just so that it's quite uniform. See, in shape. Yeah. So this is a sphere that I've created. And that's it. We reduce the size. It's perfectly fine. It looks same from all sides. So we can just make this into a pokeball, right? So all you need to do, I'll just select this and move it up a bit, the object for our viewing, right? This is a pokeball I have so created. Also, all we need to do is create a very simple texture for it. It doesn't require too much work. So I think we just go and select a very bright red and paint this area in with a bigger brush. Right, so this can be a Pokeball red area, and there's a white area for a Pokeball, which will go with a bit of a grayish tone. Right, And in a similar way, we can add the black strip in the middle of the Pokeball. Sorry. Right. And I also want to add a darker shade to this. So I select this red, move it down. I can use the pencil tool because it doesn't create harsh lines, and create a darker red over here. And select this and create a darker white area. Pencil tool again. Right. That's it. And move this along. And now I have to create the sphere in the end, the button that you press on the Pokeball. It can be of a very bright white color. So best way, since it'll always create a circle, just click over here and it'll using the paint brush, increase the size using the brackets on your keys, and it'll make it bigger, right? And we want to select a color, something that will go around it. So we select this black, reduce the size of our brush, and go around it like so. Well, what will be a easier way? If we just take the pencil tool, right, and get it back to its size over here, right, we increase it one fold and add a black circle and go lower and add a white circle inside it. We increase it by twofold. The black, we go to back to a pencil tool, I mean, and add this and go to a gray tone and add this inside. Yep. As you can see, it looks like a Pokeball. Another thing we can do is add a highlight over here. Specular highlight, you can just add, reduce this in size. It will be a bit of, it will be yellow and with very white accents to it. Right. So we can just file, save it on our computer. Sorry, file, export as a PNG, and to our desktop, we save it as a Pokeball. Right. We open picoCAD, go into our texturing view. Why can't I see the object? Right. So we can see our Pokeball. Let me zoom in. Right. Maybe I moved it too high. Move it down to its axis. Right. This is a Pokeball. All I need to do is open this. Sorry. Open up picoCAD and just drag the Pokeball texture in. Right. So imagine if this is a front face of the Pokeball. We can create a square front. We can count if you want to be accurate, right? Which I want. So I'll just select these two. Go back to when it was a square. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. And I'll also move 12 spaces down similarly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. And we fit this into place. So this side would just be this repeated. So I'll do it. Um, one, two. Sorry. What if we? This makes it fit in much better. Right. So for this, where this structure go? Right, so this is our texture right here. See, as you can see, it continues. All we need to do is add the same texture to it. It's pretty simple. Just since it's the length of the round Pokeball button, I just drag it around. Right, and I want these faces on the back. We have decided to be this, this, and this to be out of a darker shade. So of the darker shade I've made, all I need to do is drag it over here. Sorry, uh, fit it in the Pokeball area and extend it down, and I add this area instead. So you can see it's a much darker area. Maybe you can go with a better red over here, right? But it gets the job done. Right, so this is also I also want this to be similarly darkened. Right, extend this down. That's why I'm saying you don't have to have the exact dimensions as long as it fits the scale, right? It'll automatically fill in the, sorry, it'll automatically fill in the lines of and scale it accordingly, right? So for this side, again, it just takes a bit of time. Reduce it lower and move it around to the side. Where's this one? Select this, select these two, and move it down. Drag it to the left, right? And which face? So this side is complete. So on the top, all we need to do is color it red, right? So just select this, drag it into the red side. Select this, drag it. Sorry, select this face, drag it into the red side. Select this face, drag it into the red side. It's just that simple. Sorry. This face should be a dark color, right? Right. So I just need to adjust this so that it matches that. So this thing, sorry, yeah. So this sphere, this point, I feel should be in over here. While what is this point? Yeah, this point along with this point right over here. Right. So we have colored in our Pokeball from the top. All we need to do is the bottom, which is just drag it into onto the white. Just drag it into the white. Get to this area. Drag it into the white. So let me just turn off my shader. Drag it into the white. Come to the darker area. Drag it into the darker white. No, this area and darker. This area darker. This area would be the lighter white. And that's it. And all I need to do is fill in this bottom area. And I can angle it like so. right? And move this around. So basically I want this to be rotated right now. So hold control, then this would be on this side. So as like so, and this point should be on this edge, while this point should be moving towards the white. Right. So as you see, we have shaded in our Pokeball. Maybe I'll add a bit of a better red to this. We open up Photoshop. Maybe this red isn't working out. The Pico program only uses the 8-bit color format. So what we can do is we can switch this red with a lighter red and go back to our darker red over here. This file export as PNG. Where's our Pokeball PNG. Yes. Go back, open picoCAD, just drag it on, and it'll change the color automatically, fit it down. So this is how we have just created our own Pokeball, right? So this is a simple way you can create different assets. Again, all you need to do to export it into a Blender is uh, just save the file, save as. I'm gonna name it as a Poke, right? And all I do, click over here to view your files and open your toolkit and just drag your Poke thing named over here and it'll open and you all need to export it as a OJB file, right? And we can press Z to view these files and we can just move them to our desktop over here and move this into the NES folder to avoid clutter and open our Blender the same way, file, import, wavefront OGB and add the Poke file, and if I hold G to move it, and see it's right here with all our texturing over there. So this is a small way you can add game assets to your thing, which with a very simple program, it you can see our new notes over here how we can even make much complex shapes like this toast and even stuff like this car over here. You can go to the website, right? And you can see how other people have created like a bus and a truck and other cars which has a lot more detail. You can just keep on adding objects and creating e- keep on adding detail. There's no limit to this. Just remember the texturing, the color palette is only limited to 128 by 128 pixels, and that's the only issue with the program. Otherwise it's a very fun way to create, you know, our our own pixelated game asset pieces, right? uh, So, is there? I can take, since we have a lot of time left, right? I can take some suggestions on other people's, so I can make something and show it to you. If you haven't understood anything right now, you can just put it into the chat box. If not, I'll just find something. I'll just create it on my own. Anyone wants to suggest? Just place it into the chat box. A gun? Okay. So a gun is pretty simple. All you need, I would try and create a gun which will be so what kind of gun I can, what if we go over like a normal M9 kind of gun, a handgun, right? So this would be its normal barrel length, right? And we want to another cube for its handle. All I'm gonna just move this up, right? um, and move, sorry, and move this like so. Right. So you can see this is our start of a handgun. Right. Similarly, we can add another um, the barrel in the front. We can add a cylinder to it, and we can just select the entire thing and press R to rotate it. As you can see, we're just rotating the thing. And this we can place in front of the gun like so, which you can see right here. But this is too large, right? So what you want to do is select these faces. A better way to show would be just for me to move this thing here and just crunch these in. Right. Or you can just move very quickly by just using arrow keys. Right. Just crunch this in and just extend this a bit for our make it look like a barrel head. Oh, I think I messed up a bit there since I'm not able to access all the points. Yeah, so select this phase, just press R to rotate, and we go back to this phase. Oh, sorry, my bad. Use your arrow keys to move around. Right. So this is our sphere, so we just need to reduce the size. So I want to take this vertex, move it in a bit, move it in a bit, move it in a bit. Just make it smaller. For the gun. Let us see if this fits in front of the gun now. Well, I mean, it barely fits, but we can still get away with it. Right. Oh, it's inside the currently. To move it out. Right. Oh, we can just create a silence gun. That also works. We just extend it to make a silencer. Right. So this is the silencer of a gun. What other aspects of a gun we are missing? Move this in a bit for the hammer. Right. So I think the gun body will be even longer than this. So we can increase the length. Right. Very futuristic looking blaster, if I say so myself. And uh, or we can add another, I would say, a prism, right, for the hammer. So open this. This is a triangular prism, right? So I want this to be rotated the other way around. So I say, go back to this view. Oh, my bad, I removed the silencer. Select this face, just press R for it to rotate. I'm rotating it on the wrong axis. Yep. So I want this to be, yeah, so this is the right way up now. As you can see, maybe this would be better. It's still, I don't get used to seeing stuff in 3D space. So this is our gun. Yeah, this is a hammer. So all I need to do is rotate it. hmm Right. So how does it look? Yep, it's exactly how I want it. And my goal is to move it right over here and select this face and rotate it a bit so that it's facing inwards. Add it like so. And I think it's the wrong side, so I just add it on top over here. Yep. So as you can see, to our gun we added the hammer as well. Here we can texture it in as so. We can add a trigger to it. For that we can just use a pentaprism. Right. Uh, Go to this view. Sorry. Uh, yeah, I have to rotate it so that it's facing on front. Go back to this view and basically move it so that it looks like a trigger. Right. Since it's got 5 points, we can make it into a banana shape. Right. Like so. Yeah. So this can be a trigger. Right. And for some reason it's a huge trigger. Or I can just reduce the size for it. Right. And add this right on the gun. Move this entire thing to the inside of the gun. Right. So if we look at a gun from a different view model, see we created a gun, a very futuristic looking gun with a trigger and a hammer. Right. And all is left to do is to texture it. First, I think I should need to make the gun actually physically possible to hold. Right. So this is a, a very funny looking gun. And maybe increase the handle a bit uh, to fit the size, make it proportional to everything, and move the entire gun up a bit. So we can finally add a bit of texture to the gun. Right. So um, we open our Photoshop file new, again 128 by 128 pixels because that's the limit. You can't go higher than that. You can, since it's a cube in front, all we need to do is, since basically a gun is always mirrored on either side, right? We can just create a small barrel, right? This would be the barrel. Sorry, I'm not doing it on a transparent layer. It will cause some issues later on. So select the layer, the pencil tool, and make our barrel. Oh, right. So I can just fill it in with a lighter shade of gray, like so. So this would, wait, what if we create a green blaster so it's a bit more family friendly, right? A nice lime green, and we can add a edge of a darker color like so. And we can add like a something to grip on, for us to reload the gun. So that would be, we'll go down like so, right? So this will be our grip of our gun. We can I like to export it as soon as possible to see how it will look. So on the desktop, sorry, on a desktop, we open, we go to, we save it as a pistol, uh, and we open our picoCAD and drag our pixel texture into the texturing view. Oh, it has come as a yellow. I wouldn't mind, just call it the banana gun, right? And this texture would be from here, right, to there. I feel it's been rotated around since this should be the front of the gun, right? Hmm. This color pattern is not looking good, but I think this size of our thing is perfect. We can just go with the grayish tone of the classic gun. Because picoCAD is limited to a specific color palette, right? So if I open picoCAD, sorry, it's only limited to these colors as in the color palette. Okay, so this is another way to do is we can color the mesh green, right? So this is how our, I mean, basically our pistol so-called um, model looks like. You can see all the different components properly. So you can also you can, if you have a trouble differentiating the two bodies, right? Since it had also a dark lighter green color, right? So you had trouble which would be what. So you can just select a different colored mesh. We can maybe go with a pink color. So it helps you identify the different elements of your of your model. So come back to our texturing. Uh, the best way for us to texture actually is to try and create something very mm, minimalistic, which has very thick lines. So if I take my pencil tool and just add a very, sorry, I'm using a brush tool instead now, a pencil tool, and add this. This would be something that was must can be easily shown, can be seen by other people, right? Because it's a very low polygon texture, and we can also add like a red line, simple, with a much smaller size brush, like this, and file export, quick export on our desktop. And where's our pistol? Yes. Go back, open picocad, and drag this texture in. This, as you can see, this texture, oh, first of all, my bad, I should take the alpha to white so we can actually see our black color. Yeah, so this will be the side of the gun, as you can see, right? We can change the background to a, you know, lighter color so you can see the gun properly, right? So this will be the side of our pistol. um, yeah, so that will be a side. I mean, maybe I should lower it so you guys can see it properly, right? So I'll lower this and I go back to our view, zoom in, right? So this will be the side of our pistol. So same way I'll try and replicate it on the other side. Just select this and just select the entire area again. The thing is, this our texturing over here is super simple, right? So it doesn't really get in the way of anything. Oh, sorry. I think I have to move it down by one as well. Right. So as you can see, our pistol has something on both sides. We can add a color to the hammer, which I think this color is fine. Or you guys want to add a different color, something you differentiate the hammer by. Hmm? Or you think we can add a camouflage texture? Um, See, even I'll just make another box over here. We'll try a camouflage texture. It actually might work since it's got very big blotchy areas on it, right? I can just select this area, make it green. So it's limited to the amount of green which you can use. So just select a very bright green and fill this in, right? And we go to since there's only one darker green shade of green, you can use the pencil tool to create other blotches of camouflage like so. So if I file export as quick PNG, where's our pistol? Save. Yep. Uh, let's drag this in. Right. For this side, this will how a camouflage will look. It's actually not that bad of an idea. It's looking it looks like a skin in one of our games we play. Like it's like like a very scuffed CS:GO skin. So the best way to uh, continue this texture, have a seamless pattern, right, is to why is it alphaing out of there? What did I select as an alpha? White. Select this as an alpha. Yep. What should be the best one? Yeah. No, why is alpha in the green? Okay, so to basically create a seamless texture, all I need to do is move this down, right? And control C, sorry, move this down and just paint not inside it. So basically just continue the entire pattern. So select our pencil tool, select this green, right? Brush and sorry, and just color this in completely green, right? And we can add our own pattern to this, like so, right? So all I need to do is select this, control click this, control C, control V. So all I need to do is this fits in the four lengths. So because that it has to be a continuous pattern wrapping around. So it will be around that big. So I can just select this, move it on top higher, and control T transform it to fit this entire area. Right. Just we can clean up the edges. Pencil tool. Right. Camouflage. It's a file. Export that piece. Quick PNG. Where was I? Pistols. Pistol. Yes. Go back. picoCAD. Add our new big pixel texture. Pistol texture. So this can be on top, and this face right here would be the same thing. Just keep on checking against it. So this has to move up still. This has to move up still. So now they're connected. And now all I need to do is select these two by pressing X and fit it into the right size. So just fit it in more. So again, this can move even further in. So this is, yep, this is the, no, it's a bit too far. Right, move this down for us to fit this entire thing. How big is this? This goes much lower. Right. So as you can see, if I zoom in, it has tried and created a seamless pattern across it. So since our blotch ends over here, maybe it's the other way around. Or the cube, the texturing is kind of weird. So hold on. I think the texturing arrives, yeah. So if I select this is this vertex, this is the top vertex. So this is the other way around. So this thing should be lower while this thing should be higher, this area. Right? And if we sever this, select the top texture, this corner is correct. So now if we go back and check, this corner is that corner, this corner is that corner. So all we need to do is rotate. So this corner would go over here, and that corner will come down. Right. So this, if I check again, this corner is correct. This corner is also correct. So as you can see, we have got a seamless pattern going across it on that corner, right? So we can create the entire barrel like so. Again, I compare it to this, move it down a bit, right? So this corner is the lower corner. No, this corner should come on the top left. This corner should, yeah, yes, this should go on top. This corner should come down. This corner should go here. So this is our cube of this length. Remove it up a bit and fit this in to our pattern that we have created. Right. So whatever the length is of our top one, it will be just the same. Yep. And select this. This is just a bit short. Move this up a bit as well. So all of these are flush with each other. So as you can see, the pattern that we have created over here is seamlessly transitioning between the pieces, right? It's a perfect seam. So this is, if you want, we can add a shader, right, to our gun to make it pop out, stand out a bit more. Um, in the barrel, I'm liking these lines that are there, and our hammer is perfectly fine. I think our handle also fits perfectly, right? So if I export as GIF, we add a medium spin. So this is our very futuristic looking pistol gun. Maybe to fix this area, the cylinder, this is going into the white area. I make it completely green, right? But I generally like these lines. going across it. And for the hammer, I think for the hammer, I think we can just make it completely white. That will that might work, I think. We can also make it completely black. That also works. The last face of the hammer is down below, which is this. And we have created a very uh, this is green. The front should also be completely green. No, the handle. The front of this should be completely black. The front of this should be completely green. This face is also should be completely green. Right, so the trigger is completely green and the handle is completely that. So this is our so-called um, this. Let me just angle it a bit better. Right, move it up a bit. Right, this is our this is our so-called futuristic pistol we have created. Hopefully, um, you guys enjoyed the presentation, the workshop today. Uh, please share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. That so, and please try and support the guy who's created picoCAD. You can help donate him. You can just spread the word of his program. It's a really good program. And for any other help, you know how to contact us. So I would like to end the stream. Thank you guys.